Whatever, you adjust them by the time you sit down in.
Yep.
And everybody sat. And we all sit very nice.
Here's the problem.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Okay, hey everybody, I'll call the meeting to order. It's Monday, May 4th, 2026. This is a work session. And Councilman Embry, would you give the invocation?
Be glad to. Let's all pray. Dear Heavenly Father God, Lord, we're thankful for another beautiful day. Lord, we're thankful for everything that you do for us each and every day. Father, we're thankful for this town in which you allow us to live. Father, we thank you for its citizens. Lord, we're thankful for all of our folks that work for us every day. Father, we ask that you protect them in every way possible, Father. God, we know that they're sick in our community, especially little Ray Ray, Father, and we ask a special prayer for her, Lord, and the doctors and nurses that are taking care of her and her family, Father. We ask that you just put your healing hands on them and allow the doctors and nurses to do what they need to do, Lord. May she get to come back home again soon. Lord, we ask that you be with us tonight, Lord. Help us to say things we need to say and do things we need to do for this community that we love. Father, please forgive us when we sin, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Okay, before we get to general town business, we wanted to recognize someone that's going to be leaving the public library. J.D. Watkins has been a faithful employee and a much-loved employee at the library. We certainly appreciate your years of service. I don't know how long you've worked there, but it's been a while.
It's like 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. So she's moving on to other things, continuing her education, and we hope to see her around though. And we might even have something to, I don't know if we have anything to give you.
Yeah, I did.
Councilwoman.
Myself, because I'm one of those like unity thing, I preach that all the time. So I would like to say thank you from us, the mayor and the council. So, why don't you come to the front, don't be shy. So thanks for being loyal and dedicated to the town and help the citizens out. So here's one of the certificates here. I'm gonna get it right there from everybody. And then I got some plans. Yeah, and I'm gonna be calling, checking up on these and make sure you get it. So there you go. Again, thank you so much. Sonny trying to set up too. Elizabeth, I want to be included in the picture too. That's that unity thing. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor, she makes really good cupcakes.
She's done a lot in the library. She's been a one-person help desk for tech issues, and we certainly
Yes.
appreciate it. Okay. Okay, general town business, we've got a number of items, so let's just get right to it. Item A is a resolution and ordinance regarding tobacco, excise taxes, and the general sales tax provision of the town of Rogersville. And we have our town attorney here, Mr. Sample. Would you want to come up and then be on standby, or if you want to give an overview of the resolution and ordinance itself?
I'll be happy to. Thank you very much, Council, Mr. Mayor. What I have for you tonight are a few things. I request the first in order of how they are on your agenda is that we have a resolution to amend ordinance 01-20-03. This is your provisions for sales taxes on tobacco products, as you have them. You have 4 different main sections. Now, first, let me say, these are first readings of these ordinances. These are the times for you to discuss them at either now or some other date, to read through what you're doing. Ms. Jeffries also included for you a copy of the old ordinance, so you can see instead of us having to read through each items 1 through 4 and what they are, you'll have the old ordinance of what you were actually amending and wordings as they are. Basically, though, you're talking about increases in the amounts or the taxes. So I created sort of a fill in the blank for you, for lack of a better way to put it, as you go through, see where you are and where you might want to go on these. And again, this is the time to review. It's where we find some mistakes, like the first glaring mistake you'll see is I misnumbered the very end of the ordinance. Items 6 and 5 are misnumbered there as we come into effective dates. And you'll see this because effective dates of taxes, you're required to notify the Alabama Department of Revenue. And these cannot become enforced until 60 days after you submit this report to the Department of Revenue, and it is acknowledged. The way the statute reads is kind of funky as it gets into, it becomes the first Monday of the 3rd month after the Alabama Department of Revenue is notified. So that's where that date, that's why that is blank right now. When or if y'all decide to adopt a resolution increasing some of these taxes, that's where it comes from in that. Mr. Mayor, I see you've got, and also, I want to thank Ms. Stansel as well for, she has created for you some of the projects, a list of some of the projects that you've talked about and what those amounts were, and so you can start trying to measure increase in taxes versus things you want to, improvements you want to make into the town, and how it would be affected by increases in sales or use taxes, however you see. I want to, again, at the very beginning, my kudos to Ms. Jeffries and Ms. Stansel for the hard work here in helping me put these together. The next one you see is the ordinance to amend 0919-89, which was also amended by ordinance 05-10-01. You see how long it's been since these ordinances or any increases have been adopted. The increase from 89 to 01 went from 1% to 2%, where you stay now. And these are sales and use taxes. I did not put the corresponding use tax numbers in these because they would be the same for use in sales generally as you go through. But again, these ordinances are attached for you for your review as well. Let me mention something else at this time. Right now, when it comes to actual sales taxes on alcohol, now not the excise taxes, not the license taxes, but your excise taxes, they are included in your general sales tax ordinance. Now, some towns have a separate ordinance for alcohol, like they do tobacco, so you can have, let's call it, what many people call it, a sin tax. Like Florence's sin tax on alcohol is 5%, where their regular sales tax is 4.5%. So those are things to consider. Right now, ours is not separated out. If you wish to do something like that, we're going to have to separate out that particular, and we would amend the ordinance to create a new paragraph. We would, in this case, it would be a new paragraph G in the sales tax amendment, should you want to conduct it in that manner. But that is something for you to think about, as well as I invite all of you to kind of canvass what surrounding areas are. Like right now, Florence is 9.5%. Killen, which I can say is also looking at these types of increases, is the same as you, as a total of 7.5%. So you are not out of line. You are at the lower end of taxes at this time as well. So just, those are a couple of things to keep in mind for you at this time. The last item I have here, and I appreciate Ms. Jeffries put me and the mayor put me on the agenda in order here of the things I've done, is I also have a resolution and as well the ordinance itself to amend ordinance 11-17-003. This is for the Rogersville Town Cemetery and the cemetery's ordinance that you have here. In Rogersville right now, and you buy into the cemetery, you must buy 2 plots. And right now, the way the cemetery reads is only 1 human remain may be on each plot. However, as you all know, cremation has become a much more popular way to dispose of human remains among families as well as towns. This ordinance allows, like many towns do, to allow you to buy, even though we still have a 2-plot minimum requirement for purchases, so you don't have odd single plots out, is the purpose of that. But you can put 2 remains of cremated, or 2, I'll just use vessels for cremated remains in each plot. So it seems like a very reasonable thing to do. Not that I try to give my opinions on this, but that is a very reasonable thing to do. And I have created not only the resolution, but a view of the ordinance that would go along with it. Something that I can tell you that the mayor, Ms. Jeffries, and Ms. Stansel and I have talked about, something that in the future I would like to see us do when we now codify these ordinances. Many of them are old. What I would like to see us do is, since they're not on the computer, in a Word document, so to speak, is to scan these ordinances and from PDF and create them into a document, edit them, and then as we add our new ordinances, say amended by ordinance, whatever, with what the change is, so you'll know that it's current and when it was done. But that it will be quite a project when that happens. Like this would be a good time to start with some of these new ordinances. We've got 3 here to recreate those. One of them is, none of them are actually on the computer except the alcohol one. Since Ms. Crumley and Ms. Michael were town clerk, they tried their best. When I would write an ordinance, I would send it in a Word document to them, whether protected or not. And then that makes it a little bit easier for some of those to do. Some of them are going to be much harder. But those are my 3 for your first readings tonight, to look through and have anything. Are there any questions for me right now?
Do we want to go ahead and talk about the park ordinance as well?
I'll have that on down there.
Yeah, that's on down in the agenda, and,
You're fine with waiting until we get,
that's my question. That is fine with me. That the park ordinance was a fairly easy thing. If you'd like for me to go through that one, find where it was in order. Oh, municipal park rules and ordinance. I've got to give it to Ms. Jeffrey. She found this ordinance and did a lot of it, so I have the easy task of going through it and saying, yeah, let's just add this one from something else. So she did an excellent job on pulling those together as well. It creates a little bit more, I won't say it's pickier, but it is a little bit. It does allow some more specific things about when authorized use of vehicles, whether they can be, whether loitering, camping, and other things that Ms. Jeffries was asked to include in these parks ordinance, and she can actually talk about some of that as well as you can, Mr. Mayor. That's what those things are as well. Again, excellent job on those.
thank you.
You bet.
So, I have a breakdown of the municipal sales taxes in Lauderdale County. You alluded to this.
Yes, sir.
Rogersville is currently at 2%, for a total of 7.5%. So the way it breaks down is Alabama levies 4%, Lauderdale County levies 1.5%, and Rogersville, since 1989, has levied 2% for 7.5%.
I think,
Since 2001, I'm sorry. Rogersville, Killen, and Anderson are at 2%. Waterloo is at 2.5%. Lexington is at 3%, and St. Florian is at 3%. And you alluded to this, Florence is at 4.5%. I have some information from the state of Alabama that Rogersville was actually levying some sort of sales tax in 1969 at 1%. So I don't know if that was reaffirmed in '89 or.
that, you probably added some sections at that time too, but there's no really record that it was an amendment. It was just strictly an ordinance, restatement of an ordinance.
But bottom line, it was 1% for years, and it's been 2% since 2000. Is the thinking increasing, raising it by 0.5% or 1%, or what is the thinking? As far as the general sales tax?
I would propose 1%.
The breakdown I
Still
did
makes us
is
the lowest.
at 1%.
Okay.
That, the breakdown spreadsheet I
Yes.
did, I had it as at 1%.
But if we're gonna jump ahead on that and look at one-time improvements, and you can see, this is what we all talked about that needs to be done. And we also, talked about how we're gonna get it done, and this includes the senior center, police department, library, town hall, parks and recreation commission. If y'all remember, it came out to $1.4 million. And, then we went back and tried to scratch a few things and what we needed and everything, and it still came up to $986,000. So we had the gentleman come to us and talk to us about a bond. And then the only way we can actually pay for a bond to do all of this work is to raise the sales tax. And as you know, we get hit every day. We need this road paved, or we need this bridge repaired, or we need this at the park, we need the nets improved, we need the ball fields improved, we need be paving roads more often. Well, since COVID has left us, our revenue in this town has dropped tremendously. And the bad part about it is it's almost dropped almost $300,000. So to gain any kind of revenue back, to continue to do the things that our town people want us to do, is we've got to do this.
You used the wrong word. He said gain revenue back. This would get us back to breaking even.
That's right.
This is not us making money. This is us
That's
back,
where we're at, that's right.
breaking back to even just to maintain what
Right.
we've already approved, what we already want to do, and what we're already doing. This is just us breaking even.
Yep. That's right. Thank you, Stephen. So,
Sir.
you know, my suggestion is we go to 3. My suggestion on the, cigarette, cigars, vapes, and all, even on the vape, I said go as high as 10, because that's what the states allow, or the state
I
allows.
don't, Jim can, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the state set a window, a deadline as far as raising tax rates on vape products.
On vape.
I believe that deadline was October of 2025, and that window is closed now
Okay.
unless they reopen. So I'd like to take that.
Right now, those are state mandated at this time.
Okay, so we can take that off, but the cigarette and cigar, you know, taking it to, 8.5,
From the current 6.
6.
What we're talking about at the cash register in terms of the consumer, or for a $2 purchase, as far as raising the general sales tax, 1%, you're looking at 2 cents for every $2 purchase. My math is correct. Or 25 cents for every $25 purchase. So, you know, it's not a lot per transaction, relatively speaking, but we can do a lot of good, as you just alluded to, with the revenue that can be raised like this. We would still be below, we'd be in the middle of Lauderdale County, we wouldn't be near the highest. We're currently at the lowest.
And we'd still be below Lexington, and if Killen passes what they're gonna pass, or try to pass,
Same for
and St. Maureen, then we'll still be below them. So they are looking at a tremendous increase in theirs, so. And then the sales tax, I am proposing that we go from 2 to 3, which that will take liquor from 7.5 to 8.5.
And that's right, we don't, you said we could create a separate ordinance or a separate section to delineate that, but this would,
it. You need to.
this would increase
Right.
alcohol by 5% by virtue of doing what we're doing under the auspices of the general sales.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Lexington's 3%, so I think we'd be,
Yeah,
we'd be even with,
It's right, right there.
3.5.
I think,
Okay.
anyway.
I think it's
Okay.
three.
Florence,
I think
Florence.
it's 3.
Yeah.
Florence is 4.5, and Athens is 3.
Killen's 3.5 or 4.
Who?
Killen.
Killen's at 2 right now
They're at
with,
two.
with Athens,
They're
yeah.
fixing to go.
Yeah, but Athens is also
St. Maureen's
3%.
fixing to go too, so. But that's where we're at. I mean, we all sat here, did the math, and, it wasn't pretty. And, just to be totally honest with you, right now,
Friends, we don't want to do this.
no, we don't wanna do it, but I mean, we can't undertake any major project.
Athens
At all,
and
right now.
Florence is booming so fast that it is literally taking our citizens that would be spending money in this town, and they're taking their tax dollars to Florence and Athens. And it started showing real hard this past year.
I agree with Stephen, so let's go ahead and do that increase.
Okay, so, Councilman Mason, anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, the tobacco excise tax increased from 6% to 8.5%, and the general sales tax increased from 2% to 3%. Okay. Okay, any other discussion on that or questions? Okay. Library and campaign, Ken, you want to? No, I'm sorry, we'll go ahead and talk about the cemetery.
Here, I'm sorry. Okay.
he suggested that we take a look at this, as Mr. Attorney alluded to, cremations, or when this ordinance was created, cremations were probably very rare, actually. They're more and more common, and all indications are going to continue to be more and more common. This just says that 2 standard size urns can be interred in one single plot. You still have to purchase 2 plots together. I think there's a certain section in Civil Cemetery where the previous council set aside some single plots. So maybe they're discounted, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Does that mean we could put a urn into the casket?
Don't know about that. Well,
I've been asked that. I have really been asked that question. I mean,
right now, the way I read it, sir, I did read it with 2 cremated
Right.
remains. This is a first reading.
I understand.
If, you know, I hate to say, if there's room,
I think Eddie would probably agree with me on this one. There's not a lot of room
It's
left
not.
on a single plot.
It's
Well,
But
Even for a small.
Dennis said there's enough room for 2 urns, but yeah, is there enough room for an urn? and a-
is there enough room for an urn in a casket?
when you,
I would think not.
and you don't wanna get to the point where you're hitting vaults, and all of a sudden you're having to exhume because of an accident.
Right.
So I would think, I hate to say it, but only if at the time of the second to go, if they put it actually inside the casket itself, I think that works.
Okay. See that.
So that needs to be clarified.
So do we need to put that in?
Yes, sir, I
Yes.
certainly would.
That
Yeah.
an urn and a casket go in the same plot if the urn is interred within the casket.
Correct.
There's not a lot of room left when you put a vault in. I mean, those spaces are relatively small.
Or the family of the second guy could break open the vessel and just pour it over.
Well, I thought of that. Serious.
So-
But you
asked the
I don't
question,
even
counsel.
want to clarify that.
you can tweak this particular ordinance to reflect what we
Yes, sir.
discussed.
Yes, please. Thank you, Tim. And leave off Mr. Franklin.
All right.
Can you not just dig down just enough, far down enough to put the urn in and then cover it?
Not typically.
Not-
I would, I mean, he's done a lot more of these. I've just overseen a bunch of them.
I mean, we're talking something this big, like this big. It's no bigger than a football in most cases.
Some of them are pretty big.
Yes.
Some of them come in a 2x2 box.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you wouldn't have enough ground clearance above it. You
State,
know, it wouldn't
you
be.
could limit the size and dig down there, you know, not be a big one. But being bigger than.
And I don't know how far you go down for a casket?
How deep is the casket?
Yes, how far down deep in the ground?
Vault,
Yeah, what, yes, whatever.
um,
I don't know terminology, sorry.
The outside box.
How far is the body down in the ground, Eddie?
48 inches.
4 feet now.
4 feet.
Okay, so you put the urn at 3 feet.
No, you,
Yeah.
the vault's bigger than that.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay.
No, you have 20 inches of
Yeah.
cover over the vault.
Okay. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carry on.
But I have been asked about putting an urn inside the casket, which I don't open them and check them anyway, so what we got in there, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll have this on the agenda for next Monday with the adjusted language.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, now, library, Ken, please. NCAP, I think we have several. No, one for NCAP.
Just the one quote, it was the same painter that did the library's, previous work, and he was excellent. He was offering to do it for $1,000, $900 if we include the military discount. And he did excellent work, so I would be totally in favor of this.
Mr. Attorney can speak to this. It's come to our attention that we can not use the military discount.
Okay.
You say ethics law, but I believe he was actually offering a repeat customer discount.
Yes. I think he was trying to help the library out, and so I think he was giving us a really good price.
Can you explain about the military discount under state ethics?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I don't know who among you, I know many of you are veterans or who are attempting to use your military discount. I like the way you think. Whoever's,
Councilwoman.
okay, I like the way you think. However, the Ethics Commission has already spoken to these matters on that. And since those are essentially personal benefits, even though it's a personal benefit that you're attempting to donate to the town, to allow that to happen, consider creating a conflict of interest and unfair advantage. And they disallow those sort of things. And I would rather it not be there, so it's not be subjected to audit, subjected to claims by the Ethics Commission of any wrongdoing of the town purposefully, especially if there are competitors who do not offer that, using a personal discount for a particular vendor who does not allow it would be considered a discriminatory conduct at that time. So, and that's where they come up.
Well, that's what they're saying, it creates an unfair advantage
That's exactly.
among companies that want to. Not so.
And councils who have veterans,
Right.
so.
Okay. But anyway, it's still $900.
It should be 1,000 at that point, but it was still a very reasonable price.
Okay.
The previous quote that we had gotten to replace thing caps were 16,000, so it's a substantial savings.
Right.
And it would still update them and modernize them and make them look better. So, I think it's a great deal.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I've got something all on the line there on another subject though. Are you through with that?
Yes,
Last month we talked about, giving you permission to advertise for part-time help,
yes.
and I don't think we put a price on that.
I think it was 10.50.
10.50.
Yeah.
10.50. I'd like to raise that to 12.50. That's my thoughts on it.
Sounds great to me.
I think it would help you get maybe somebody more qualified to help you.
I think it would definitely help maintain and keep good employees. 'Cause I think
Okay.
it's been an issue in the past.
What is it currently, what,
10.51.
1051?
And I mean, most fast food restaurants pay $12, $13 an hour.
You're proposing 1250.
12.50, yeah.
Anybody have any thoughts on
Elizabeth, do we have the money?
I mean, I understand it's not possible, but if it is possible, that would be great.
Is this just through the summer, or is it year-round?
It's a year-round position.
Year-round position? Do we have any money?
I mean, there's not any in the library fund, we'd have to look at figure out what the difference is for the remainder of the year. I know I had spoken with Kim about it, and I had said it might not be possible, but to bring it up at the new budget and look at increasing it at that point. But, I mean, it would just be a matter of looking at everything, figuring out how much it would be and where we could move stuff from, if you wanted to implement it now.
Would you be agreeable to wait until the new year?
We just set the part-time for the street department last month.
This is full-time, well,
Part-time.
full part-time, year-round part-time.
Yeah, his is just a seasonal
His is
for,
just seasonal. Is the difference.
Yeah, I'll be good with it, but I just think we ought to do
And
something.
that's like $4,000
Yeah.
over 2,000 hours.
Yeah.
2,000 hour days, so that's not a tremendous amount to me.
That's not a whole lot.
I just don't know the numbers right off the top of my head as
Yeah.
far as taxes and that sort of stuff.
Well, why don't we put it on the agenda for next week, and then we can have those numbers and
That'd be good.
vote. Okay. So that was the painting. 2 outdoor tents. Explain what you're using 2 outdoor tents for.
We've been trying to do some programming outside lately, just the weather's been good and a little more space. Doing things with kids like tie-dyeing and planting, not really a great idea in the library. So we're trying to just use our space a little better. We've also been utilizing the park the last year or so, and that would give us a tent that we could take up there and have a shady space. We've also used the pavilions, but a little extra space would be good. We also, when we have the petting zoo come, and things like that, if we could set up a little tent with some water and that kind of thing, it would be great.
I believe we have maybe about half a dozen quotes for 2 tents.
Yes.
Ranging from $101.96 to $250. Seems pretty reasonable.
And plus, we need the tents anyway, so regardless, if you have any type of occasion, or any type of events in town, you need a tent anyway.
Well, there's downtown events where.
Exactly, so if you have a downtown event, would you have a tent pop up? No, so this is what we really need to.
Are these for the library specifically, or are these for the town for the library to use?
I think it would be the libraries, but the library can lend them out if needed.
Okay.
If that's the case, I think we need to look at the one that's got the full enclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the one you're talking about right here, the one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
But
one I guess, sir.
either rain and then cold weather and
That would
stuff.
be good.
And you can put a heater in it.
Is that
It's the
130, 139?
It's 119.
One right.
Oh,
Better order some sandbags, please.
Yeah.
You can have that one.
Okay, thank you.
What are we gonna do too?
Sandbags.
I think it's from Amazon, they from Amazon.
We order from Amazon all the time, so.
I was gonna say, for like Zoo Day and stuff, they're gonna need at least 20 by 20 space.
Do you think that'd be big enough for your purpose?
I think it would,
And then two
If
side
you
by
had
side.
2.
yes.
And that 20.
We could do 20 by 20 if we put them next to each other, but, or 10 by 20, but.
Good.
I think
Otherwise,
those, I
it's
think,
large
no,
transport.
yeah, so let's just stick with the standard size right there.
It would be something Andrew and I could manage versus
Yeah.
the bigger tents.
All right.
It's like, I'm in the Kiwanis Club and we have a massive tent that takes about 6 of us to put in the back.
Yeah.
That would be rough. First thing.
So why don't we put on next week 2 10 by 10 pop-up canopies, the Drift Dolly brand?
Yes.
The gifts are.
For 2 for $119.99.
Yeah, that way it gives them the enclosure, they can run a heater in there.
That would be great.
Starts raining or anything like that, so, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, thank you.
And any other questions or?
You can get some sandbags.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Oh, right.
Yes, because as soon as you don't have them, wind comes along.
I got a very good experience with that.
It can be fun.
Thank you.
Another date that I shared with Kim right before the meeting was the hometown grant she applied for. I went and just looked on the website and it said June 26th before anybody would know. And there's 25 towns, is that what I said? 25 towns that'll get this grant. So it'll be that long before we find out anything.
I hope.
We're crossing our fingers.
Yes.
Thank you. It's almost summer reading.
Yes.
So Kim and Andra and JD's been helping us all prepare everything.
And we'll have a schedule soon and I can probably bring that next week. So,
Keep it together, so she can post it.
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night.
Okay. 6 months review of live streaming. In December, we officially sanctioned live streaming our meetings on a 6-month trial basis. Because we started in December, for us to continue live streaming on the town's official Facebook page beyond this month, we'll need to have another vote next week. I think it's been a great thing. It's a lot of people who can't otherwise physically be here to be able to follow along at home. I think it's great having it on demand. The record is preserved right there. If anyone has a question about what was said or how any of us voted on any particular issue, they can just go pull up the video. I think it's been great for transparency and really in keeping with the purpose and the spirit of the Open Meetings Act. I know the audio volume could be adjusted, could use some improvement, and that's something I've thought about. I've got some ideas on how to do that. I do want to point out that broadcasting public meetings is actually specifically allowed under Alabama's Open Meetings Act, even if it's not done officially by a town or a as long as someone follows reasonable rules and it's not disruptive, anyone, in fact, can live stream public meetings in Alabama. So I do intend to keep the live stream going. I just prefer that it continue on the town's official social media page using town equipment. So that's the motion I'll make next week, that we continue live streaming on the town's official social media using town equipment in perpetuity or indefinitely. Anybody have any questions?
Not all the town, the state, besides the state.
I'm sorry. Well, that's right. The town bought the iPad, whatever that thing is called, tripod was donated by the councilwoman, and I guess we can continue using that. But I will ask that you all, as a body, extend the official live stream in perpetuity.
Mayor, if you don't mind going
Yeah.
back, we had a question not too long ago. I was trying to go back to the videos. Can we go back and put dates on every one of the meetings? If you can go back and look, because not every meeting has a date on the
You mean
video.
the description or the
Yes,
title?
the title, that way we can search
I don't see why we can retroactively at least add
a date
a
to the
date,
title.
if anywhere.
That way, if you ever needed to hear exactly what we said, you can go back and look at the video.
Particular date.
Yes,
Where is the video being killed?
on YouTube,
On YouTube servers.
on YouTube servers and on Facebook servers.
Shouldn't we download it on something?
We could download it. I believe we have the ability to download it.
YouTube, don't they have a date on it?
I would thought.
I think they're timestamped. He's saying we didn't include the date in the description, but I think they are all timestamped. But it probably would make it easier to search if we added the date in the video description. I think you can download videos from, as an administrator, I think we have the ability to do it.
Yes.
Download those videos and keep them on a hard drive.
Yeah, it just says 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a date on YouTube.
I'd be happy to go back and
So,
add.
yeah, I mean, that would just be really helpful. That way, if there's ever a question when, did we or did we not say this, that, or the other, we can go, okay, well, we did that in January. We got 2 meetings in January. Or in that case, I noticed we had 3 or 4 meetings in January, between January and February, and I was like, okay, which one is it? And I didn't have time to watch all 4.
Well, thank you for pointing that out, and I added the date
Yes,
to
thank
the
you.
description of this live stream, and
It'll just be helpful to you letting me search it in the future.
I will make that happen. Okay. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, the ordinance and sign update at the park. I did, Jim, circle some things that I had questions about. I'm sure others may have some questions as well, so I'll just go down my list. Let's see. Okay. So what we have here is a proposed ordinance really to codify park rules. That's what we're talking about. By my reading, this would also cover Heritage Park, but a lot of the things mentioned in the ordinance are amenities and areas that are only currently found in the recreation park. So,
Now, that's correct, Mr. Mayor. If you'll look in the paragraph itself that we did, Ms. Jefferson and I did work on that to say all persons
Right.
utilizing municipal parks and recreation facilities to cover all.
any future parks. Okay, so I have circled some specific things regarding section 3, subsection D, offensive conduct. Is there anything, Mr. Attorney, that could be constitutionally problematic with the terms offensive language or disorderly language? I mean, since this is an ordinance, not just park rules, do we need to tighten that up and say obscene language, or do you think offensive language and disorderly language would be the style?
Well, you could even get as detailed, start putting things like hate speech in it, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, some of that language is in the eye of the beholder. You think everyone would know. Some people curse on a regular basis thinking that it's okay. But in a park with children involved, it's certainly not. So I certainly can look to see if there's some better language out there to be more descriptive for it. I wouldn't want to narrow it more. If anything, I'd want it to be more descriptive, in my opinion.
I just didn't know if it came down to it, if that would stand up to scrutiny if someone challenged, being banned from the park, or if they were issued a citation for offensive or disorderly language.
I think you would then, I think it would be up to someone to defend themselves saying about why it would not be offensive, what they said, and whether any enforcement officer was being unreasonable
Okay.
in doing so.
Okay. Under section 4, subsection A, there's reference to baseball park, just to be precise and technically correct, I think we probably need to make it say baseball/softball park.
Yes, sir. And where is that again?
By my notes, it's under, let's see, section 4, subsection A.
Okay.
And then under section 3, subsection B, there's a section that says dogs, quote, shall be permitted on designated walking trails only, end quote. Does it need to be spelled out that what we're talking about here is the current walking trail itself, along with the grassy areas within the walking trail?
Yes, sir, I believe we can do that.
Yeah, I just don't want people to think that they have to keep their dogs literally on the paved walking trail and not in the grassy lawn areas within the perimeter of the trail. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
We want the dogs to be in the grassy areas. But not outside the outer perimeter of the walking trail, just the interior of the walking trail. And then under section 4, subsection A, I believe it is, parts of the disc golf course overlap the walking trail. In fact, parts of the disc golf course are within the interior of within the interior perimeter of the walking trail. So given that, how do we square the language about dogs being allowed on the walking trail with only on the walking trail with the language that says dogs cannot be on the disc golf course?
You would say something like, that they cannot be disruptive to any activities,
Okay.
prescribed activities.
So we can just add language to that effect. That's it. And then, the enforcement and penalty section, I think that's, section 7. Toward the end. Yeah, section 7, enforcement and penalties. This section lays out specific fines related to animals and authorized vehicle violations. Then it lays out the punishment for, quote, each and other additional offenses or violations. Is this same that each of the prohibited activities in section 3 is a finable offense? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, sir. They
Okay.
certainly can.
And it's just that the pets and authorized vehicle violations have non-standard fines or fines that are different than the other,
Correct.
than the fines for the other prohibited activities.
Correct. Municipalities are limited to fines up to an amount of $500. And essentially, that's why that section is in there. And kudos to Ms. Jeffries for making sure she included the proper code sections in
Okay.
the student.
And then like the pets and authorized vehicle violations, even though they have a separate fine structure, it would say, are these essentially misdemeanors or not essentially?
Yes, sir, they are.
Literally misdemeanors.
They're all misdemeanors.
Okay. So that, the misdemeanor provisions would apply to the all of those offenses?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all I had. The sign itself, the only thing I circled was, maybe on the sign itself, change baseball to baseball/softball park, to match the change we will make in the actual ordinance. And I mean, I'm fine with offensive language, I just didn't know if we would run into a constitutional problem if somebody decided and claiming free speech grounds that their cursing was constitutionally protected speech.
Well, again, someone would then have to argue why they were offended by "Yay, we won," or the Rammer Jammer at the end
Right.
of Alabama baseball game, football game, or any game.
Okay.
I'll take what you're saying, that really applies to, like, during baseball games, people screaming at the umpires and getting into it with other parents and.
Which is the disorderly part.
That's sort of, right. I'm not trying to defend offensive. I'm just,
Sounds like a free speech.
I'm just saying. That's all, everything I circled. And then I think, as far as signs, I think the thinking is put up, new new signage at every main entrance. There's the main entrance, and then there are several main entry points. Entrance to the basketball court area, entrance to the tennis complex, the baseball and softball fields. And, six, I think that probably would suffice. I don't think we would need more than six. Okay, that's all I have. Does anybody else have any
Well, I kind of want to go back to, one, and that's under section 3 and G. Motorized vehicles shall be restricted to the designated roads or parking areas unless it's approved for town maintenance. I'd like to have a little bit more teeth in that, if we could, or even a fine associated with that. We've had, 2 vehicles actually inside the park, kids all there. One of them almost ran into our gas line. The other one was actually just, they wanted to sit in the car and watch the ball game, so they drove right up to the fence. So I'd like to see some kind of fine that we could produce for that.
There is in 7.4, there is specifically unauthorized vehicles of up to $500, as well as towing.
Okay, all right, for 500, okay, I got you. I like it. Thank you, sir. This was happening the night that they were actually using the gas grill and the gas was on, and, yeah. I didn't told you package for it.
Okay, any other questions or comments about the ordinance and the sign? Okay, next item on the agenda is pickleball. I believe I have a quote, Councilman Jones, are you most familiar with this?
Yes. Attached in the package is a quote from the only person bidding, it's Grayson Carter and Son. There is also you got the sketch, Kelly? With it? Okay.
Yeah, there's no sketch attached to this.
Okay. I like that. All right, but you can read through and see what they're willing to do, what they're gonna do. And the current bid is $99,921.55. So, and I did reach out to Eli, the one who submitted our bid, and this bid is good for an additional 60 days.
I got a question. Can people not, we've discussed this before, I think, can people not start playing, if we were to hold off on doing fencing and just squaring off the surface and adding nets and whatever else has to be done to the courts themselves, can people go ahead and start playing without fencing? Or is that, if we wanted to do fencing later? Is that a liability, or is there anything pickleball wise as far as, that would make it impossible to be able to play without a fence?
Right now, the biggest liability when it comes to pickleball across the country is sound.
I heard that people are hearing it, people that live next door to pickleball courts are hearing it all night long.
That is an excellent question about the fencing itself.
I mean, balls will get loose.
Balls will get loose. Of course, the first thing I think about now is our park ordinance and dogs getting loose and disrupting them, but they're not on the trails if that happens.
That's right.
I would not think so. But that is something I can look into for you. That's a good question.
I was just wondering,
I don't know.
if we could get another quote.
You think we want to get another quote?
Minus the fencing.
I don't think
you already got scope of work.
Can we ask for a revision of this?
Well, I think you can reject all bids and send them back out.
No, I agree, we can reject this bid and hope. I don't disagree with that, but to say, we don't want them to do the chain link fence and I want somebody else to bid it,
That would be
that's right, we're all going to bid.
that might be considered discriminatory.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not gonna be a part of that. I'm not. No way.
Just have to get a bid, trying to get another bid, Ed?
Yeah, but
If we're gonna do that, then we've gotta reject this bid.
Reject that bid and put it out for you to.
we have to officially reject the bid, it's not accepted.
No, we're gonna have to officially reject it. So let me ask you a question. What's wrong with this bid since nobody else bid?
Well, since
We didn't
nobody
go
else.
out for bid.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought we submitted it, did we not?
We didn't went out for bid.
How did we get this?
I don't know.
I figured you asked.
No, I thought we asked for bids.
So they had to have a scope of
It
work.
sounds like an unsolicited bid.
He's very well detailed on what they're gonna do
That's right.
here, so, I mean, I would think we definitely need to get another quote from somebody else.
We got some phone numbers to call people, but as far as getting the bid, we did not.
Just like this one's structured, I think that needs to be.
So
bid
this
again.
just, surprised they just came out, this quote, nobody requested.
Nobody knows it.
I
I
didn't
mean,
request.
that's kinda,
I don't know.
I remember something being said one time about Grayson Carter said they could finish the whole project, but I have spoke to Eli, I had them come cut the asphalt, it's squared off.
Right.
But as far as
And
finishing,
I remember
I know
the
we need,
former mayor was talking to him,
yeah,
so I don't know if he requested a quote from him.
I don't know, but a lot of stuff on that list is stuff that has to be done. That fine grading, sod, there's quite a bit of work that still have to be done, fence or not.
Yes.
But an 8-foot fence is a little, I think 8 foot's a little overkill for pickleball.
If I might interject, this is unusually just about a little over, right under $80 under what the public works requirement bids are. But it's still definitely in the necessity for publication, for a bid of this nature being over $50,000. So,
Regardless, anything over $50,000 has to be
yes,
advertised.
yes.
we need to get it cut. They've got it marked off, we need it cut so we can backfill. We're gonna be in trouble with the
Yeah.
backfill when it rains.
They cut it today, but they didn't remove the excess today.
Well, there's really nothing to do with this. Suggestions on that? Speaking of,
Have $100,000 for it.
well, I don't think we have $100,000 anyway.
No.
Even if we want to-
Look there then, next thing.
So let's just,
Next.
let's just,
My God.
we're gonna toss this aside for a minute.
I looked in the envelope, the pickleball envelope's empty, we can't spend no money.
Okay,
Is that the way to go about it, look in the gym, just Dave Ramsey this thing? Yes.
all right, company, AT&T company cell phones, what we have here is a price quote from AT&T and what does it cost to have town-issued cell phones for certain town employees and all of us elected officials. Essentially, we're talking about town-issued phones for a couple of department heads, one assistant department head, certain others with unique job responsibilities, all council members and the mayor, myself. For us up here, the phones would technically be issued, say, to the place one council member, the place two council members, so forth, and the mayor. In other words, we would turn those phones in back to the town when our time in office is over, and they would be issued to our successors, presumably with the same phone numbers. Same with the employee issued phones, they would of course stay with the town, when the individual is no longer employed here. Currently, there's a $50 monthly phone stipend offered to certain employees, council members, and the mayor. Personally, I don't really see the need for us elected officials to have town-issued cell phones. We're already offered the $50 per month phone stipend. We could use that for a separate phone now if we so chose to. I do think it would be a good idea to have town-issued phones for certain others. We're talking about police officers, the code enforcement officer, leadership of the street maintenance department, the building inspector, I think it would be one, and certain professional staff, namely the clerk and treasurer. All those employees, by the nature of their jobs, are, for all intents and purposes, required to conduct a certain amount of business on their cell phones. So I think it would be a good thing, a fair thing, and a proper thing to issue them phones so that they can easily keep their job-related business on a separate device. I know that we elected officials use our phones for business too, in terms of voters reaching out to us, but I look at that differently than the day-to-day job responsibilities that the aforementioned staff use their phones for. So I understand the reasoning behind it, but I'm inclined to only be in favor of doing this for certain staff and not for council members and the mayor.
Kelly, you wanna talk on this, or Jim?
Yes. So as much as we do use our phones after hours and during regular business hours, for liability purposes, anything that we do on our personal cell phones, whether it's work or personal related, if anything were to happen, our phones can be taken from us and everything on our phone can be dumped.
So for liability purposes, if anything were to go, like if the town were to fall under any sort of litigation or anything, if it's deemed, if you use your personal cell phone to conduct business matters regarding the town, and your stuff gets subpoenaed, you have to turn over your personal cell phone to have every bit of that information dumped, not just town stuff. So that's the reason that we, and I'm gonna say we, because me and Kelly do both agree, in doing this is it protects your personal information and your personal data.
This was something that was discussed, in Tuscaloosa at our class last week.
Jim, do you have any thoughts on this, and do you have any thoughts on differentiating between elected officials and professional staff?
Actually, no, I do not. Unfortunately, it's the professional staff that most often gets caught up in these sorts of litigations, and they are trying to see who said what to whom. Yes, you as council members would be subject to the very same thing. However, I believe that the staff is in jeopardy, and I applaud what the Alabama Municipal Court Association, Municipal Clerks Association has done in bringing that to the attention. And from also a fiscal standpoint, it seems to make sense to the town as well, as we're looking at cost-cutting measures that you have. It appears that the reimbursement that you're paying now, many of these phones would actually be cheaper than having a phone for them than the reimbursement that you're paying them.
Is there any kind of sovereign immunity that we have that would prevent our phones from being subpoenaed?
Not in a criminal case, or in a case of fraud or discrimination.
Are you aware of any other municipalities that the elected officials of the municipality have town issued license?
No, sir, I can't say that I am. That's an inquiry I haven't made.
I'm in favor of the professional staff having these. I'm not convinced that that's elected officials should.
I wasn't in favor either till they said they was gonna take my phone away from me. I mean,
That's
well-
personal. I mean, I just feel like that's my part. I pay, whatever.
Because when they do a dump, they're dumping everything. They're dumping your pictures, your emails, your videos, your chats, your text messages, your,
I mean, I'm just saying.
Somewhere along the line, it's not gonna get right.
How long will it take to get it back?
You know what I'm saying?
I do love personal
That's what I'm
business.
saying, if any of us bill ourselves at the $50 stipend, we could get a separate phone number. I know it would be cheaper in the aggregate in the long run, on a per phone basis, to do it this way, than the $50 stipend.
the quote that you have, it does have to be a minimum of 11 people to maintain that price. Now, full monthly cost on this would be for 18 phones, which is 4 more phones than what we're reimbursing for. And it's still cheaper than what we're reimbursing for just the phones in
I
general.
would like to know whether there are any other county cities in the state that issue their elected officials funds.
I can work on that.
Could you find that out?
Yeah, I bet the municipalities probably have some
Okay.
information on that, as well as just calling around there.
The lady probably could tell us real quick.
Exactly.
Okay. I will, between now and next week, I will find out how many other municipalities issue phones to their elected. And I will report back. Any other questions on that? Okay, 4th of July at the park, I know this is not in the budget, but, there is gonna be a big 4th of July event with fireworks at Rogersville Recreation Park. I know one year the town of Rogersville supplied complimentary hot dogs, watermelon slices, and probably bottled water. When the budget was being put together last year, I don't think anybody even thought about the fact that this year is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I think it would be a shame if we didn't do something to commemorate
We have to do something.
commemorate that. The private sector has handled this event on its own for the last several years. There's a lot of people out there. It's gonna be probably the largest fireworks show ever. Daniel Burns and his team are handling that. There will be food trucks. I don't think complimentary hot dogs would cut into the food truck business. There's probably people that would eat from the food trucks and also hot dogs. George, I don't know how much it cost the last time the town did this.
I don't remember, I think we'll get some prices for next week.
Do we have any idea of how many hot dogs and watermelons and bottles of water?
Watermelon was bought about 15.
Watermelon?
You want more than that, don't
Huh?
you? You want more than that.
I don't think so.
You had
Maybe
15 in your-
like,
We had 15 that was trying to give away.
So the last ones, did we get that from Jay?
we can't get any watermelon because that's a lot of slices now.
I know, but I thought you got a truck.
George, if we got 500 people show up,
We got a lot of big boys that like watermelon.
Well, we can get more, we can get more, hoping
I
500
thought it
dollars.
was crazy.
I think the hot dogs we figured 600.
Yeah. 600 hot dogs and you're thinking 15 watermelons.
Well, everybody will eat one of them.
Right. Did the town supply bottles of water that year or was it just hot dogs and
We just bottled water now.
There is-
There was a group set up outside.
there was?
Yes, yes. Sure.
You want me to find out a price on 600 hot dogs and buns
We
and,
bought them down there, what is it, Bob Line?
Yes.
We bought them down there.
you want me to get some quotes on that?
Probably.
And the watermelon company, they want to throw you.
I'll get Jay to quote those,
Okay.
cause you can buy,
Show us the vision, probably just
you can buy crazy.
Got the bill.
You get the prices.
Let's get some prices on several hundred hot dogs and,
You did make
Okay, who's gonna do the cooking? Who's gonna be there?
I'll help serve. George, who helped Councilman Mason who drove the hot dogs last time?
You what?
Who prepared the hot dogs?
All of them, every one.
I mean, were they grilled?
Cooked right out here,
Okay.
wrapped and put in coolers and sent to the park.
I'll help grill, I don't know what I'm doing.
okay, then you're not helping.
Yeah.
Everybody
Let's
gets
move
their
on. We don't need somebody going from mayor's
I'll-
house sick and
I'll-
not having to be here.
Boy, the turkey and really
I've
wrapped.
gotta work.
Okay, let's get some prices on all that and we'll report back next week. Oh,
We'll check on watermelons and hot dogs.
and hot dogs, okay.
My only question is there something different besides food that they would want us to do? Because if they've got food trucks,
Well, I
I mean, I
talked to,
understand people would eat a free hot dog versus spending $25 at a food truck, but
I don't know, I
my
talked to,
question's just,
I just think.
is our money better spent in another way?
I just think we should have a different, separate.
Well, it was,
So I'm saying like the town and council, that they come and greet and they got questions to ask the council people that you should have our own event, because they don't have food trucks and
Yes.
to their stuff.
Yes.
This is 4th of July. I'm just being straight up, I won't be up there.
I
Because
know
of
they
the
would,
water, so. you
I know they would appreciate the town's cooperation in some form. I mean, I'm not all hung up on
But
it.
I mean, I understand,
Hot
that. I
dogs,
just think we
water.
should have like a
Have we
separate
done anything
event.
to support that
Separate event.
in the past?
Recent
That's
years.
why I think Daniel's put it on for us anyway.
Yeah, for the
For the
tank.
last, yeah,
For the
I
tank.
mean, and y'all, I don't know if y'all's ever been up there when he did that thing, but I mean, the campground's covered up, the
Yeah.
ballpark's covered up, I mean, there is not a place to park, they're parking up and down 207. You,
We
Do
could have,
something down.
we could do something, we could still have hot dogs up there and have a separate meet and greet with complimentary hot dogs or donuts downtown.
Ice cream truck or something, I'm just saying a social, like.
It
council
come out
mayor
better with
social.
hot dogs than hamburgers. We had hamburgers one year and it didn't work.
All right,
Well,
yeah, different prices.
I'll get some prices and then we'll also think about having, maybe a meet the councilman's event downtown.
What is it?
Sonia, I can get that stuff donated if y'all set a date.
All right, we will
Okay,
talk
well,
about it.
we'll
All right.
talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, is the chief here?
he's up, he was sitting right up here.
Yeah, thank you. There's no delivery. Thank you. We can't have a social setting. Well, that's right, we can't have deliberation. Someone was gonna get a sheet, in case we have any questions about that. We could talk about the appropriation and advertising request form. I believe, you see this in the pack, it's labeled request form. It's a form that organizations can fill out, organizations that would like us to make a donation. You can see, as I said, the type of organization, school, a nonprofit, civic groups, community groups, fundraising events, or fundraisers or event committees, has places for contact information and persons of contact. And it also has a place for them to, they're not,
I'm on the door over there,
oh.
I came to the door.
thank, the amount requested, and the purpose of the request, community impact. In the past, it's been kind of a standing thing where non-revenue sports at LCHS are on the donation list. There have been a couple that have asked this year for the first time ever. But, and my understanding is this would open it up to more than just non-revenue sports at LCHS. This would be any eligible group that was wanting a donation, they would be able to fill out this form and make that request.
Yes, we want to put those out there, of course, in case to the school. But in order to do this, then we've got to have it budgeted, because we've had different people come in and request that we did not have that budgeted for. So, like, we put on the dates, or on here, the applications are open from June the 1st through August the 14th. So that would cover, get us time to get these back in, y'all go through them, approve, whatever, and then she would be able to gather those amounts, and we can actually have it budgeted for.
I think it's a good idea, that way we don't have to scramble when the time comes.
Good idea.
And if you miss the time frame, then you just.
Try again next year.
Try again next year. And the ones that we have in the past done something for, you know, we have their addresses, we can mail them these forms to get the word out there.
And she was saying maybe like the administration of LCHS could circulate this among the school groups, the school student organizations.
Does that give them an unfair advantage if we mail it to them, Jim?
I don't think so, only because they've asked for them before.
Okay.
As y'all know, I am your favorite naysayer. on these sort of things. And because it really has to be of a benefit for the entire citizenry of the town, advertises the town, helps the citizens, that sort of thing. So I think it does two things for you. It gives you, most importantly, gives Ms. Stansel an idea for the budget itself, and your chance to approve that. Secondly, it can create an ability for you to say, for lack of a better way to say, besides the town attorney says, no, you're out of budget range anyway. You don't have time to do it. So I believe it's a good thing for you to do this. So I'm a fan of this idea.
You get your stamp of approval.
I certainly did. And again, they were very specific on saying it's for the fiscal year coming up. They're explaining that. Now, I think you all know there are going to be cases that are going to come before you that maybe didn't happen before or will be new, that you're going to want to consider.
Yes.
This is not saying if you didn't come in, you don't have a chance, but it does give you something to rest on if you need to turn something down as well.
Do we have to vote to approve this then?
No.
Or can we just administrate it?
I think you can administrate it.
Okay, well, we'll do that. Okay, chief is here. The only police department not on the agenda is Officer Castro's annual training.
Yes.
What is that?
$395, and it's over here, for most shows, so there won't be any hotel or food costs. And that'll give him his, training hours.
We'll have that on the agenda. I would anticipate that.
All right. Thank
You have anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, maintenance truck repair. Mr. Hammond. Couple of quotes, I believe.
So, one, our spare truck, if you will, once we got the last one back out of the shop, the air is not working in the spare truck. The garage says that it's leaking freon at the evaporator, so they gotta take the whole dash out to replace it. So that's the estimate that you see in front of you to repair that truck.
No, it's just one, it's a couple of different prices.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk to you about is regarding our truck for sale out there. I suggest that we've had it out there now for a few weeks, and we've got one offer on it, which was ridiculously low. So I would ask y'all next week to approve for us to list it on Gov Deals and try to move it. Yes, instead of trying to sell it locally, list it on Gov Deals and move it across wherever it needs to go.
Is that something that can be done administratively?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's already been, assuming it's been declared surplus.
It has.
Yes.
We'll do that before next week.
Okay.
We'll do it tomorrow.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Lauderdale County High School Steak Dinner, who's, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was approached by the guys that is putting on the Lauderdale County High School State Fair. And as you know, that's a booster club event, and we cannot donate to a booster club. So the question was, could we, and thanks to Jim being here, can we purchase an item and donate it for a door prize?
No.
Okay, just making sure, just making sure, that way I'm not the only one that says no.
Taught you so well.
I know that, I just need backup, so I know I'm not the only one saying
Your
no.
favorite naysayer.
Okay.
Can you explain why we can't benefit a booster club, but we can donate money to a non-revenue sport?
Well, because that is directly to the sport itself that is operated by the county and the school system.
If we can't tell them, once we donate that money, we can't tell the school where to use that money.
That's right.
Even though we're saying we're donating to the track and field team, we send the money to the schools.
Now, each and every one of you can buy a steak dinner and go. Just don't turn it into this stancil for reimbursement.
Right.
Yes,
I think they've got enough tickets, like, y'all can all get one $100.
yeah, I've got mine. All right, I just wanted to clear that up.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all.
Always happy to help.
Yep, I knew the answer, but I wanted to make sure.
So with that being said, Jim, I have a question about this booster club. Allegedly, this is for all sports, this booster club will be supporting. So if it is for all sports, then are we going to be able to give to the golf team, even if the booster club is where the money goes through? Or is it still okay that we go straight to that team?
You need to go straight to the team or to the school.
It's okay to do either to the school or to the golf team or the track team.
I think to the school.
You have to go to the school. You have to go to the
Gotcha.
school. You have to go to the school.
So here's my question for the council then. We've designated and paid money to the non-revenue earning teams. If the booster club is giving them money, does that make them revenue earning teams? I don't know the answer to that, that's why I'm asking.
It's still from a not-for-profit, so no,
Right.
probably not.
Okay, so as long as the school is not, it doesn't violate what we've agreed on.
Right.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, public comments. Now is the time for us to listen. This is not a deliberative time and not a time for questions and answers. Although if anybody has a specific question, I'm sure any of us will be happy to meet with you afterwards to answer it. But this is time for us to listen. If anybody wants to speak, I would just ask that you direct your comments to the chair and just tell us your name and where you live, and the clerk will keep the time. It'll be a 5-minute time limit, and I'm sure she'll give you a 20 or 30-second heads up when you're done.
PJ Tully, just want to let y'all know, been keeping y'all informed on the field house. We did open bids last Friday on that. We have a meeting Wednesday, and we should vote on the contract. They hoping to maybe have the groundbreaking hopefully by the middle of June, end of July, and they'll have 300 days to complete it, so.
How long, when do you think it'll be completed well before that?
It won't be this coming next football season, but it will for the 27th season. Yeah, I said hopefully in middle or end of June, we'll break ground on it.
I know that's been a long time coming. I think it was announced about maybe 5 years ago.
Well, when I got elected 4 years ago, I started working on it. But it is coming, so.
Thank you.
I know it's very well needed, so I've been keeping y'all updated, but, yeah, it'll be here.
Good.
You want to give an update on the,
Not
you don't want to?
Not yet.
Okay, everyone say
Yeah,
that.
all right.
You don't want to give an update on the new career tech?
I thought you were talking about something else.
No,
Yeah, the new, innovation center,
yes.
it has come along, we will be ready to move into it in August. They're getting close to completing it up. Only thing it'll be ready by then, but we added 6 new classrooms to it, but everything will be ready to move into by August. We'll have all the equipment and everything furnished, so it's very well needed. They'll have the road completed and, the traffic light up. That's gonna be a game changer for a lot of the county to have a new innovation center. It's nice. If y'all hadn't ever been down there to it, sometime we'll go down and take a tour. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Okay, go ahead. What is your name and where is it?
My name is Beverly, and I'll tell you, Murray. And there's 3 things, and I think really none of it has anything to do with the council from asking about Lee Street. Lee Street is what, a county road?
It is.
And y'all have nothing to do with that street as far as problems with it?
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the first thing is that I want to just say I've been coming here since 1981 to Rogersville. And I think it was like 10 years before I ever knew there was a Lee Street. Once I found Lee Street, I've shopped there just every time I get an opportunity. Now I have a business there. And so that leads me into, I had written a letter to you guys this morning, and I then was told that it really wasn't a city thing. But I do want to read it to you if you don't mind. It says, as an owner of a business in Rogersville, I am inviting you to come sit with me in front of my business for an hour. I feel that you will get a better understanding of what I see, hear, and endure during the day. It's scary, noisy, and a possible moneymaker for the city. I'm not alone in what I have told you. I want you to experience it for yourself. This would make a good town meeting on an agenda. Please accept my invitation to come and sit between 10 and 3. Yours truly, Beverly Murray. What I'm referencing to is that, quickly I'll say that I had a student years ago, and she got away from her parents in a busy area, and ended up, she's kindergartner, first day of school, went at Walmart after school, truck backed out, ran over, broke both of her legs. I fear that for anyone that comes down Lee Street, crosses it, and when they come down through there, 18-wheelers, I think, are bypassing the light. Farmers are pulling trailers. We've had lines pulled down because of 18-wheelers. It's a drag strip down through there. I saw a lady make a U-turn from the far side around and almost got T-boned by a big truck coming down through there. And it's not a pleasant thing to see and listen to. So my thing was, I was going to ask, I have made the comment here that I would even take a radar gun and a camera, and I would sit out there and let people, send them a notice saying you have been fined, which would be money brought into the city or county or however it's done. And so I would gladly do that. We need something out there. My first thing is, we need something to bring attention to Lee Street. Because the way the four-way stop is, you're back here behind the building, you pull up, make sure this one's not gonna pull out, and then you go, and everybody's looking towards McDonald's and the red light so they can get to the river. Well, I happened to look to the left one day, and Lee Street's been my favorite place to shop ever since. And the other thing is the danger that I'm afraid could happen to anyone at any time with the people flying down through there. So, if y'all can tell me who I need to go see, call, or whatever, I will gladly do it. I'm very outspoken, and I'll stand up for whatever I believe in and the people with me. So, one last quick thing. I need someone to help me or come get a refrigerator, a big old metal cabinet, and some other stuff, and take it to the scrapyard for free. And I don't know anyone down here that close, so.
You're on the live stream, somebody's
All right, so
That'd be
anyway,
great to hear.
it's at 1618 Lee Street, and that's my business as well. And so if you'll just come and help me get that out of the building, so, because one piece is so wide, I can't get through the big doors that goes into the backside. So, welcome to Lee Street. Thank y'all so much for
Yes,
hearing me.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm pretty much be dead of old age by now.
Give us your name, even though I know you're.
So I am coming tonight to request one of two things. Either some money to be donated for a homeless woman that I've got up there at the park. I was told that no one could be at the park if they didn't pay the full $400 a month, but nor could I get a discount for her. But I now understand that that is not correct, that there has been some there for free. And I got a little homeless woman that we have started working with in January, trying to get her safe. I have her safe in a camper up there. However, I am paying $400 a month for this homeless woman up there. And I do not feel like that is okay. So, if you can't let
donation from the town of $400 a month while I have her there. So it can come in a donation, can come in a rebate back for the, I've already spent $800 and it's time for another $400 payment. I've already paid $400. But, if it's okay for, and I don't mean anything bad, but if it's okay for city employees or anybody to be there for free or discount, I can't imagine that it could not be okay for our little homeless. Who, by the way, is doing very well. She does have some mental health issues. She is and she is coming a long way.
Good.
Working to get her an apartment, but you know, the situation with apartments down there. She will be a low-income person. I've got her on food stamps. I mean, we have really been working hard with her. That $400 up there is huge too. Especially, I managed to give her some Social Security to get started. $600 is what she gets. So then she, you know, even when I get her in an apartment, things are gonna be hard. Things are gonna be tight. But, not sure about the whole situation, but I can tell you she has been in a horrible situation. I can tell you that, and. Any questions? Okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? I know your name as well. What is your name?
Sheila Ridgway, 300 Wheeler Street. I'm gonna start off by saying, I really love my town. I'm not happy, but I love my town. Now, something don't feel right, and I tell people to their face. I don't go talking behind your back, but at the last town council meeting, I requested the audits. I already knew you didn't have them, because I had talked to Montgomery, but I was told that night you had them, and that I could pick them up the next morning. So, the next morning I went in there to get them. I was told I could pick them up later that day, and about 2 hours later, I was informed that, oh no, you don't have them. I don't know why you didn't have them. That makes me worry, because I think, why do you not do what you're supposed to do? Why is it not done? I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to hide something, I want to know. You know, I wrote down some stuff here, and I said, I'm not saying any of it, because I didn't stand up here and read it. But I have went up to the ball fields, I have looked at stuff. I hear you tonight talking about raising taxes. You know, when I had a business, to make the budget, we made the budget, and when the envelope was empty, we didn't do anything else. I heard y'all the other night vote on the cameras, which I thought, why are we doing that? You say we don't have enough money, but we're gonna buy cameras. Do they give any money? You know, do they make any money for the town? I didn't understand that. I don't know. But I am formally requesting financial statements for the last 2 years. I'd like to pick them up tomorrow. I wanna know what's going on. I wanna know where the money goes. I've heard stuff about donations. I wanna know if it's there. You know? So is that all right for you to pick that up in the morning?
Let's talk
And-
after the meeting.
Okay.
This is really not a time for
We
you
won't
to
let
do
her respond.
that.
Well, why not?
No.
I think-
We don't respond during the
Do public comment?
public comments.
Well, I came at you. If I came at you, why can't you come back at me?
We operate under Robert's Rules of Orders, which precludes a time of debate or a question and answer in this
Okay.
portion, but I'm sure any of us would be happy to talk to you immediately after the
and finally bought a house over here on Mackey Street. And Mackey Street is what I'm here about. So we have about 6 kids, not me, I have 2, but there's about 6 kids on that street. And I don't know if y'all know this, Mackey Street is like a cut through. It like goes directly to the high school parking lot, and it's, you know, cut through straight to the highway. So people fly down that road. And I would like to ask the council for speed bumps on that road. Like Rogersville is known through the state as a speed trap, thank God for our police, but they can't be there all the time. And, you know, it's gonna be when they're not there that one of our kids gets hit by a car. And I know y'all don't want that we could put a speed bump to prevent that rather than a kid getting hit. And that's all I got. I texted you, pictures of what Florence does as part of ball field stuff. They have covers. We were talking about, I think, the last council meeting, for changing the nets and stuff, but they do covers over the bleachers that prevents folks from getting hit. And like balls are flying in people's chairs all the time, so that's something to look at. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? What is your name?
My name is Milton Nance. I've been here once before, talking about the winter tent. Seemed like the problem hadn't been solved. They're not harassing me about my winter tent. But last time I talked to the chief up here, he made a statement that they didn't write me back on tent, but he'll give them the pull over something else. Well, like I say, things have got worse. They're still harassing me. It seems like y'all not doing anything about it, you know. I know they got a job to do, what's the right way and the wrong way, you know. I'm gonna try to make this short, because I know other folks wanna talk and things like that. But on April the 17th, this year, 2026, this girl called me and asked me if I come and see her. I told her probably about 3 or something like that. So I know y'all know about what First Creek is at. I think that county road is 580, 84, I think, going up the hill. Up the First Creek. So I was cruising down that way that day, 17th. And I ran into Casco on that road. And I kept on cruising and everything. It's gonna blow y'all mind, because I ain't never seen like this in my life. I was going down the road and everything, he saw him, he came out. I kept on going. He ain't turned no lights on or nothing. He had no reason to get behind me. He kept on following me. So it's a dead end on that road, on 584. I was going to see what girl there, so I got down to the dead end, and I turned to the right. He still following me. He ain't made no initiative for me to stop anything. He had no reason, because it ain't no stop sign on that road, ain't no speed limit on that road. But I keep on going to get to the end of 584 and take a right onto a dirt road. The worst road probably in the state of Alabama. I mean, it's real bad. I guess it's a private road. But he followed me down that road, that's where the girl lived. He followed me down that road, bumpy the road. We ran down through the way. In other words, he chased me. He ain't put no lights on yet. I'm still riding. I ain't gonna stop if you don't put no lights on me. I'm still riding. Going to this girl house, go over the hill. I guess it's about a mile up the road. He's still behind me. So I goes in front of the girl's yard. I'm not gonna stop, you know, but he's still behind me and everything. So I comes by in front of her yard. He followed me back out the yard. Going back down the dirt road. Hit 584, the main highway. Bumpy down the road. Bad road. Dead car chasing me. I'm like, what's wrong with this clown? So I come back out on 584, and I got to the end of the road. I was trying over there. I wasn't gonna go back out on the highway. I don't know what he got going on. So I turned up in somebody's yard that I know and pulled over and just stopped. He started back of the road. And I got out and, my keys fell out. The road was so bad, the keys found I was drunk out. So I got going around and got my keys and everything. The guy came and asked me what was going on. I said, Casco back there following me, man, for some reason. I said, he ain't turning no lights on, nothing, he just chasing me, you know. So I got my keys and everything, put them back in my strong collar, cranked my truck up, and left, and came on out the road. But he got behind me and followed me for no reason, and chasing me. Now, if I had a wreck, anything like that, it'd been on the city. You know, like I say, ain't nothing changed since I came up here about my window tint. I mean, I be on the highway, everything you see my little red truck, he gonna do a 360 in the road and stay back about 3 or 4 cars and watch what I do. So I see him like he see me, so I turn it off, he go to the road instead of watching me. I can't even talk to nobody. Try to talk to a girl or whatever, hey, they scared to talk to me because every time he see won't talk to me, he start chasing them or whatever. You know, something got to be done about this dude, you know. I know he got a job to do, was the right way or wrong way to do it. If I'm not doing nothing, don't bother me, you know. Ain't no sense in chasing me up down the road. I ain't never seen anything like that in my life. But that's what he did. And that's why I was thinking awful lot to come up here. Because I don't like to come up here. Because I know it's just gonna make it worse. Because he gonna make it worse. They doing what the chief won't them to do.
Your time.
But I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? I know your name as well, but what's your name?
Michael McKinney, 77644 County Road 91. And I've been calling, which we talked earlier about it, the ditch here in front of the house. I'm not in no shape to keep that cut with a weed eater. I've been told by 2 different people that they was gonna get it done, that works for the city. And it's not got done yet, it's 3 months ago. And another thing, they got 2 different speed limit signs. They got one, and then they got one right behind. Which one did they write tickets for? Because I mean, you don't know what speed limit is, you got 2 speed limit signs. And I know said they're gonna check into it and see what's going on. I've never heard nothing on that part of it. If you don't look close, now it's been that way for years. If you don't look close, you won't see them 2 signs, because one, I told it, right, they one right behind the other.
I'm gonna introduce, to clarify, we're talking about Lansbury Road or County Road 91.
Yes, County Road 91. Right there before you get to the bridge, you're going to the red light. Just right before you get to that first bridge there. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Attorney, do you have anything you want? Any thoughts, anything you want to share?
There is just one thing that I would like to bring to the council's attention. This is just my own little counsel for the council, if nothing else, way to put it. As y'all know, Ms. Jeffries and Ms. Nancy do an excellent job, and you all do in terms of representing citizenry of the town of Rogersville. I ask you to exercise some caution, though, in your conduct among the citizens in your efforts to be so helpful. And I think what happens sometimes is that you're trying to be quickly helpful to answer your citizens' questions and to direct them in the right direction. I would suggest before you tell them there is a certain way or certain things to be done, you direct them to the town hall, to Ms. Jeffries, or to the mayor, or to Ms. Stansel, and that sort of thing. And it's, please don't let me sound like I'm scolding any of you, especially those of you who've been on the council for a while. Again, you've learned so much. There are things you think you know, and you're right. You're right about many things. But other times, it creates confusion in town hall once the citizen comes back and says, well, so-and-so told me I could do this, or so-and-so said it was this particular zone, or so-and-so said my application fee has to be turned in at a particular time, or that something is due at a particular time. You probably, I hope that all of you are doing your continuing education for councilmen and citizens that are. If you haven't seen this before, I'm going to give you some selected readings from the League of Municipalities of duties of mayor and council. I ask that you just review them. The league and their resources that are online, we pay dues to the League of Municipalities, and they are exceptional resources to answer questions. There are times that you might think, well, how can I do a particular thing, or what does a council do? You might be surprised to already find that there is a selected reading available from the league on this as well. So I encourage you to support your employees, because keep in mind, not to align y'all with our supreme being, however you may look at it, but your employees are the hands and feet of the council. But please, I ask that you lift them up, not trip them up sometimes. And I know in many cases it is an accident. You're just trying to be helpful, but just keep these things in mind as they're trying very hard to help this town as it goes on. And that's all I have to say, except I again applaud you for the work you're doing, the hard business, thinking about something nobody likes to think about is taxes. Remember, towns, unlike federal governments or other governments, have to balance their budgets, that sort of thing. And I know y'all are doing a yeoman's job in doing it. I know you're hamstrung by other challenges that this town has that's not even the doing of this council. And I hope to be talking about those in the next weeks as we keep moving forward as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, council member time. No, anyone?
Got one for Brian. I was asked, along with him, if we could patrol Mackey Street during the school hours, because it's, I got hit up 2 teachers, so told them I'd talk to you about it.
Okay.
Anybody else?
No, I don't know.
I don't really have anything. I did go to Washington DC a couple weeks ago. I think it was a very fruitful trip. This was with the Northwest Alabama Council of Local Governments. Actually, they're paying $750 of the expense. So of that trip, I met with Senator Katie Britt, Congressman Del Strong, Congressman Robert Adderholt, and Congressman Shamari Figures. And I also went to the headquarters of the Appalachian Regional Commission, which gives a lot of grants to municipalities. They are going to be sponsoring something in this state of Montgomery in a couple of months to explain exactly how to apply for those grants and to be able to answer questions in person. I intend to go to that. And I also learned about deadlines in applying for federal appropriations and federal government spending bills. So I think it was helpful for me to meet these people face to face. Hopefully when the time comes that we do ask for federal spending, they will remember me and remember our conversation, and that will give us a heads up on getting some of these appropriations. Audits, I just wanted to say a quick word on audits. The auditor that worked for this town in previous years, no longer does municipal audits. We have an auditor who's.
Well, I disagree with you there. That is,
Excuse me.
please, there's no comments for that, and we can talk about that later as well.
That particular individual is no longer doing audits. We have a new auditor he's working on 2 years' work, and we haven't been communicating with the state. And I expect that those audits will be done sooner rather than later, and it'll be time for the 2025 audit. So that's all I have to say on that. Anybody have anything? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Without objection, we're adjourned.